razor wire to stop the massive invasion of illegal aliens into our country. But meanwhile, the federal government sent Border Patrol agents to remove the barriers. On January 22nd, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of Biden's unconstitutional move to keep the border open. Among those who voted with Biden, John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. Such a disappointment, and neither gave an explanation for their decision. I know that politicians and people even in the Supreme Court get in situations where they can be moved by compromising situations. We heard Madison Cawthorn talk about how parties are thrown in D.C. and people are flown to islands and different things happen in these parties that you might be caught in a compromising situation, and then it's used to blackmail you for votes, for decisions, for your voice, and that this happens often in the political world. It's called a honeypot. And I don't know, what happened in this situation or why they gave no explanation. But why the Supreme Court of the United States, when it talks about to defend us in our preamble of the Constitution, these are basic to our nation, to protect our nation's borders. Every nation that's a nation in the world protects its borders. Why is America doing this? And why would our Supreme Court not uphold our nation's boundaries, our immigration laws? How could a Supreme Court justice rule against this protection that Texas as a state is trying to give itself because of our own federal government breaking the rules and not enforcing the laws and allowing all these immigrants to come across the border? When Texas tries to do something about it, and certainly they have, this is called federalism, they have their state's rights and their ability to defend their own state against intruders. Why would our Supreme Court vote against that? And I'm very disappointed in Amy Coney Barrett. I thank God that she was the vote that brought Roe v. Wade down. But in this situation, I disagree. I don't think it's right that Texas can't defend themselves. This is not constitutional. According to the Congressional Budget Office, Biden's administration has released at least 6.2 million, hear that number again, 6.2 million illegal immigrants into the U.S. in just 3 years of presidency, many of whom are confirmed terrorists, child predators, and drug dealers carrying fentanyl across our border, over our border. This is crazy. We have over 100,000 deaths a year. Fentanyl, right? It's being brought from China, manufactured there, brought to our border, and brought across our border by illegal immigration. And this is a travesty. How the Biden administration could let 6.2 million people come across our border in 3 years? I'll tell you why. If you've read my book, Fight Like Heaven, you know this is a bigger agenda. This is an agenda to destroy America. You can't destroy America without destroying our sovereignty, our borders, our energy, our food supply, and this is what they're doing because they have an agenda to bring America down and bring us into a global order. You cannot get America to join something that's less than it is unless you first destroy America, destroy our Constitution, get people to rely on socialism and Marxism, communism as a form of government, to want a handout. We have actual immigrants that are receiving more money than our veterans receive a month. Veterans get, Social Security checks too. Same thing. We have people that have given their life for our nation. They've served in the military or they've served by building business and working their entire life. They get a $1,400 a month Social Security check. And we have illegal immigrants that are getting $3,000 a month. They're getting a cell phone. They're getting housing. This is crazy. You take care of your own citizens. But if you don't understand, this is not just the border. This is a full blown out plan. It's an agenda to destroy the country. Fight Like Heaven shares that plan, and it's been a bestseller. And Gene Bailey said from Flashpoint, we guarantee you're going to have trouble putting this book down. This unveils the deception, the plan, what they're trying to do to destroy our nation. And every single one of us must know this plan, get involved, and raise our voice against it. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris believes that amnesty is the solution to this looming disaster. And in an interview with CNN, she states that illegal aliens crossing the border wouldn't be an issue if there were a faster and more efficient way for migrants to become legal in the first place. She completely ignores all of the dangers that these unaccounted for migrants present. She's not even looking at all of the issues and problems, and we've seen crimes committed, we've seen the drug, and the fact that a lot of our townships and counties and cities cannot even take care of its own poor, homeless, broken things, situations that sin has caused. And so we're already in a crisis in America in those areas. Now on top of that, we're pouring all of these other people into counties and cities that the schools are not prepared to handle, that there's not enough funding in those cities. And even Democrat mayors and governors are starting to speak out about that. And it's crazy that she only would have one reason to do this. And let me tell you what that reason is. They want them to be able to vote. They want them to be able to vote in this fall election. They know they can't win unless they can get these 6 million people to be able to vote in the election in the fall. And so that's what their amnesty plan is all about. It has nothing to do with protecting America, helping the American people, helping the American dream, or even really honestly, helping the illegal immigrants. It really has to do with railroading our election and trying to keep Donald Trump from winning and create a situation where a Democrat stays in office so that we're not able to bring justice to all of the schemes, lies, cheating, stealing, and stealing from the American people that the Democrat Party has done. It's not over, however. Governor Greg Abbott vows that he will continue to fight and replace the barbed wire walls, good for you, Governor Abbott, that the Biden administration is removing in an effort to protect the state of Texas from this invasion. And yes, it is an invasion. Here's a quote from Abbott's Twitter account. Texas's razor wire is an effective deterrent to the illegal crossings Biden encourages. I will continue to defend Texas's constitutional authority to secure the border and prevent the Biden administration from destroying our property. Yes, amen. Tell me what you think in the comments section below. What should the residents of Texas do to secure their state when our very government is doing everything they can do to destroy America? I want you to get involved. We all must get involved. If you see my cup this morning, I love this statement. It's from Impact Coffee. When you impact your community, you impact your world. And it's the truth. When you impact your community, you impact the world. Many of us feel frustrated. We think, what can I do? How do I get involved? Well, I'm getting involved in my local community. I'm running for office. I'm getting involved, sharing what I can share, waking up people everywhere, doing Bible studies. Many people have taken my Fight Like Heaven book and they've turned it into Bible study, and they do groups to wake up people to see what is the real agenda that's after America. But we must act fast. If we don't get involved, if we don't get our elections secure, if we don't work as poll workers and be at the voter registrations and be there for election results and inspect things, if we don't vote, then we're going to give our country away. So I encourage you, I plead with you actually, this is an election year. You have got to get involved. If you are not registered to vote as a Christian, you're giving our country away. And people say, well, what about the elections if they're not fair? Well, be a poll worker. Well, what about be somebody that inspects the results? Get involved and vote. If every Christian voted, we would overwhelm the election, and we could not have the things we have going on right now in our country. And so the communities where it starts, the corruption I'm finding out starts at the lowest level and goes all the way up. So get involved. And if we stand in the way as righteous people that love God, if we will pray and act, faith without works is dead, expose the deeds of darkness. And I tell you how to do that in my book, Fight Like Heaven. But if we don't do these things, we're losing our country right before us. And if we remain silent, if good men and women remain silent, then we will lose the greatest country on the earth in this republic, our Constitution, and our freedoms, including our freedom of religion.